Greetings, everybody. It's Marcel Williams here again with another talk. Um, I hope that you are all keeping well and that you are staying safe and following all the required procedures to stay safe. Let me inspire you to hang in there, stay disciplined. I know it's difficult. We almost now, how many months, the whole year? But let us heed what the President said yesterday in terms of the requirements and what's needed to stop the spread of the virus. Thanks also for following me and the comments that I've received from some of you. You'll remember the last time that I spoke about 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 10, where I asked you to reflect upon it because it did say something very pertinent there about that to love the truth. And love the truth involves to not be neutral. It doesn't involve being passive. Loving the truth means that we seek afterwards. You know, the Bible uses the word seek after righteousness. And it involves reflection and research. You know, we seek righteousness, and it implies a hatred for injustice and unrighteousness. For those reasons, I must say that we are required to take a stand in certain situations. And now this past week there was an example of a Christian having to take a stand. It so happened to be, Chief Justice Mogoeng. Many of you are acquainted with the story probably. But just to remind you, he was videotaped in a prayer, and in his prayer he prayed that God must destroy, he must burn all any vaccine that is not of God, and that it should be burnt, any vaccine that has a satanic purpose. Now, the reaction and the responses from the public and especially leaders was shocking, to say the least. And to my surprise and shock, it was mostly theologians who said a lot of very strong things against Chief Justice. I belong to a Facebook group where we discuss issues in South Africa, and I got into a huge, long debate with theologians who was saying basically that Chief Justice Mogoeng was totally out of order. He abused his position and office, that he should be impeached. They debunked what he was saying. They were saying basically he must keep in his lane, he's not a theologian. And they emphasized that he has no theological knowledge. And several other negative things were said about Chief Justice Mogoeng. But I was encouraged to see that several South Africans were supportive of him as a Christian, and I included myself in that. My point was that the Chief Justice was praying. He was exercising his individual religious freedom that is covered in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, where religious freedom is enshrined. However, these theologians could not accept this point and still argued about him having no right to do what he did. I further argued the point that nobody has the right to prescribe to anybody how to pray and what to pray. That's what they were basically doing. But still, these theologians basically attacked me saying that I don't have any theological qualifications. So basically they implied I should not talk, and they made a big thing about theological qualifications, which I still also debunked from my side. You know, in all of this, I'm reminded of the story of Daniel, which we all in Sunday school somehow or in sermons heard, you know, who was in exile in Babylon. And in Daniel 3, the specific story of the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar, having made an image of himself and wanted all in the land to worship this image at a certain time when the music is played. Of course, you know, Daniel was a dedicated believer, loyal to God, and he refused, and he continued praying to the living God. Of course, that came to the notice of King Nebuchadnezzar, who had Daniel and his friends thrown into a furnace, a huge fire. And you know the story. God miraculously saved him. He came out unscathed. Um, so in the situation where we are today, that we have theologians who are speaking out against leaders and doing it in judicial way, unrighteous, because nobody got the right to tell somebody how they must pray and when they must pray and what they must pray. Similar to the story of King Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel. But we here in South Africa, we're already at that situation where people want to prescribe to other people what they must do in terms of their religious practice or faith. So I want to leave you with that idea that today we can't hide. We have to take a stand. Loving the truth is not passive, it's not neutral. We have to take a position. And I've made a point that I've taken a position and I'm willing to stand on that position. So going forward, please stay home, stay safe, stay well, and live. Till next time.